This is Leigh, and you've reached Alchemy Intuitive Arts, and I am your cosmic tour guide to take you on a trip around the spiritual galaxy. And if you want to punch your ticket, then smash the like button and subscribe, and let's get into it. Today, I want to go revisit some of the predictions I made a few months back and potentially talk about where we're at with things and what's going on in our universe as far as the world is concerned. And as many of you know, we are heading into a big election. And this election, in my opinion, is not just left and right, or red and blue, or good and bad. We are really fighting for the type of future that we want to have. That future has to deal a lot with freedom, and freedom of expression, such as I'm doing here now, and freedom of making choices about how you work, what you do for work, choices about your autonomy as a family and as a parent and as a community and really as a nation. We are really going to be making some big choices about how we are going to move into the future. Me, I personally support freedom 100% all across the board. I think freedom is critical, especially on a spiritual quest, because when you get locked into, certain types of thinking, then that truly limits your expression. And so we are all going to have some big choices to make, and some would even say that we are looking at a spiritual war going on. And I truly believe that we're in a spiritual war right now. And I truly believe that each and every one of us has the ability to influence. And notice how it got really dark right when I said that. Each and every one of us has the ability to influence what that's gonna look like. There's Lulu. Anyways, we have the ability to influence how the future looks. And I believe that voting, yes, of course, is one way. But there's a more important and more critical way that you can influence change. And that is through your thoughts. Your thoughts, yes, of course. And through, of course, meditation and prayer. Keeping your vibration high, keeping your thoughts positive, and believing and supporting the right things that will influence positivity in your own life, and encouraging those around you to have that type of positivity in their life as well. Now, the big thing that's on my mind and continues to be on my mind are the continuing escalations of war around the world. More escalations from more countries, a lot more escalation. And of course, what comes with that is influences on what we can purchase, what we can buy, where we can go. These things are all going to be influenced as we move into a war period, especially if the dollar continues to lose value against other currencies, which has been happening, and especially if we have escalation with China, which is where we get a lot of our goods from. And clearly, we're going to see some issues continue with the cost of gas. And of course, this may change depending on how the election pans out. But with war, and we've seen this historically, that this affects the supply chain, and this affects our families, especially if there is a period where our children or young men and or women are forced to go to war. I remember when there was a mandatory draft, and they called it a draft at that time. I'm not sure what they call it now, but you were required when you turned 18, if you were a male, to go and sign up to be selected, have your number called up, and you would be sent to war, whether you liked it or not, whether you were a peaceful person, whether you were ready to be patriotic and go to war for your country, whatever it was, you did not have a choice. And this is a potential if America sees this type of escalation, especially if it impacts American soil, which could happen. Going along with that is our supply chain issues. Now, we are already seeing a lot of stores closing. We are already seeing the stores that we've already been shopping at are having less inventory, less choices, less things to purchase, and the things that we do have choices in purchasing are costing a lot more. And so I believe we're going to continue to see stores closing and less options, more things going online. And as more things go online, then those who manage the online process, meaning the overlords like Amazon and Walmart and these big companies like this, they're going to be selecting what it is we can purchase. And of course, going along with that is what it is we cannot purchase or what we can't purchase. And you may see some of your favorite things either being rebranded somehow or going away completely. I believe it is important to buy local from people that you like and support your local farmers, support your local businesses, people you like. Yeah, so supply chain issues are going to continue. And this is also going to impact the healthcare system as well. You know, especially if there's some escalation with China, because the majority of medicine comes from China. We'll have less selections of what we can use, and the cost, of course, is going to increase. And that goes along with the third prediction, which is inflation continuing to increase. And inflation is already bad. It's already getting so expensive, especially where I live, which is on the West Coast of the US. We're going to continue to see the escalation of inflation. And of course, that can be mediated if our presidency takes some actions to improve that issue. And so we shall see how that goes. I think as we get closer to the election, we're going to see a lot of chaos, like chaos of all different kinds. Some of it is created chaos. Some of it could be propaganda. Some could be AI type of propaganda. Some of the chaos may impact you and your family in terms of illnesses, that type of thing. So I think there's going to be a lot of havoc and chaos as we move closer and closer to November. And depending on how the election pans out, there could be more chaos afterwards. This is something we saw last election cycle with COVID. It just magically appeared in March, it seemed like, right after the election. So we're going to see something like that, and it could be affecting the economy in a significant way. We may see just a complete, I hate to say it, but a complete collapse of the economy. Or we may just see some really chaotic things going on in our cities, such as protests, or even negative things like shootings or just whatever, just general havoc and chaos. And I think that we should all prepare for that, expect that, do our best to think positive, and remember that each and every one of us has the ability to change the vibration of the planet just by being positive. And I truly believe that, and I truly encourage each and every one of you to find your joy, find what makes you happy, and try and stay in that energy as much as you can. And don't let the small stuff get you down. If you have major issues, try and address them, such as trauma or addictions. All those things really do affect the whole, because we are a collective. And I encourage you all to think positive, to find your joy. And thank you for watching. Peace. Love.